Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back with the Rumour Mill. Bit of a different one, really. I'm on my phone, so apologies if it's a bit echoey. But yeah, thank you for joining. I just thought to myself, I've not done anything with regards to Marc Roca. I've not really updated you guys fully in a couple of days, so I'm going to get through a couple of your comments. Sam said it's a bit echoey. It's just what you're going to have to deal with, Sam, unfortunately. I hope Joe's in the building. Just told everyone to pop on over, brother. Hello, Joe. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I just thought it's 2:15. Connor's got a hangover, so I just thought that I'd update you a little bit. I didn't do anything yesterday. I don't know if I did anything the day before, to be fair. So yeah, I've not been keeping up with a lot. But if you check out the One Leeds Twitter page, we've got absolutely loads on there when it comes to rumours. But yeah, on the YouTube scene, I've been a bit lackluster by normal standards. So apologies for that one. Got my beer. There's Joe. Let's have a look. You sat on... God. No, mate, I'm not. I'll tell you, I'm sat on a chair. Look at a wicker chair. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. So the title of the video is essentially something that I want to go over, really, because obviously you guys know that, you know, I now work for Manchester Evening News. So, you know, it's quite funny at the minute that there are so many correlating stories with Leeds United and Man City. Obviously, they were with Manchester United when it came to them trying to lure Calvin Phillips, but we all know how that turned out. But yeah, overall, there's been a lot of talks about Lavia potentially coming to Leeds United. Obviously, the young 18-year-old central midfielder. And I'm sort of just keeping an eye on what's going on the City side of things to see if I hear anything from certain individuals. But interesting today in The Athletic that there's been a lot of talk about James McAtee. Now, James McAtee is a Manchester City midfielder in the under-23s. And it's exciting, this one, because McAtee is a really, really decent player. I've watched a little bit of him, not much, but I've watched a little bit of him. I've seen more of Cole Palmer, but I spoke to you guys about McAtee in January. You know, I had 5 targets, 5 attainable targets I thought Leeds should sign in January. One of them was Cole Palmer, but as I had a bit of a deputy to Cole Palmer, and that was James McAtee. Different players in different positions, but I thought McAtee could have helped us out as well. I guess the only problem with James McAtee is probably the fact that he's not been exposed to a lot of first team football, which obviously would be a problem. We know that's a problem when you're coming into the Premier League. Lavia as well. Lavia hasn't been exposed to a lot of first team football, but I think Man City are going to do something here. I thought Liam Delap, who is another Manchester City under 23, was going to make way in the Calvin Phillips deal, as Dale's just said. But I think they're going to do this, Man City. They're very, very shrewd negotiators, the top of the game. And I genuinely believe they're going to utilise something very, very similar. I think they're going to say to Leeds, look, we'll offer you 40, 45, and we'll potentially offer you, James McAtee, although they do not want to let McAtee go. Cole Palmer and McAtee are almost I hate this word or words, whatever you want to say, hyphened words. Star boys. They're the star boys. They're the ones who they're looking at in the sort of next generation, the next bracket. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. But today as well, it looks like, and this is fascinating, PSG, according to several sources, are looking to put a bid in for Calvin Phillips, and apparently they are willing to bid up to 55 to 60 million and offer Calvin 200 grand a week, which is absolutely mental. Yeah, and I'd almost prefer it. Let me know what you guys think. Lee Bark has just said 60 million minimum. Let's have a look. What some of you guys are saying. Calvin approached by PSG, Toby. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, 200 grand a week, 55 to 60 million, and I think I would rather him do that. It's nice. It would be nice to see Calvin in the Premier League, winning titles and potentially Champions Leagues and stuff. But getting him out of the Premier League would be nice as well, so we don't have to come up against him and all that sort of stuff. But I don't genuinely think he's going to play a lot anyway, because he's going to have to get ahead of Rodri, and he's not better than Rodri. He's not on the same level as Rodri. So listen, we know Calvin's good enough for Manchester City, but there's no way he's going to be starting. So that's another thing for him to consider as well. It's like, are you going to be happy with potentially starting 10 games in a Premier League season when you're 27 years of age? He might turn around and say, yeah, it's Man City, it's Pep Guardiola, Champions League football. You look at Jack Grealish, he's not played probably as much as he thought he would. But the advantage for Calvin Phillips over Jack Grealish is he's played in a relatively similar system to Pep Guardiola's before, whereas Jack Grealish hadn't really, sort of like Dean Smith and managers before, Paul Lambert, etc. So, yeah, a lot to take into consideration, but that's definitely one to keep an eye on, a real one to keep an eye on that, because PSG, we know they've got money. If they're making a formal bid for him, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? The Cali Mwenda stuff, I spoke to you guys about the striker who Leeds have allegedly put a bid in for. I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's just agent talk. Maybe it's just paper talk. Spoken to a few people, and they think it's rubbish. They think it's agent talk. They think it's this, that, and the other. Could be wrong. Listen, I just come on here and talk about what I think and what some people who I trust have said to me, and they think it's rubbish. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. It might be true, but they reckon that Cali Mwenda stuff is just being curated by their agent, by his agent. Obviously, who we're not. I don't know his name or whatever. But yeah, agents do that quite. I mean, we didn't know who Cali Mwenda was before, did we? And now everybody knows who he is. Everybody in the Leeds sphere is talking about him. So yeah, let's just get into some of your comments, everybody. Bradley Pickles has said Grealish was stupid transfer money, was always going to be judged because of the 100 million tag. Yeah, facts. Can't disagree with that. Lavia is a great player for the bench and starting lineup in the near future. We don't have a proper DM on the bench right now. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'm just going to get into that as well. Chris Brooks says Man City aren't making bad signings often. The saltiness criticising Calvin to make it better that he's leaving is so poor. He's excellent and Pep clearly wants him. Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I don't understand Leeds fans who do that. I really don't understand the Leeds fans who do that. Paul said we want a bidding war for Calvin. Yeah, I'll never understand Leeds fans who essentially downgrade him. So I put a post out the other day on Twitter, and I said that I think he's worth 50 million. I think, on an unbelievable day, we'll get 60 for him, but 50 I'd be all right with. And people sort of take that as if I'm downgrading him as a footballer. I'm looking more at the business side of it. I'm looking at his contracts. I'm looking at the fact he's injury prone. So I think that's a more realistic standpoint. I will never understand people who sort of think that he's now a poor player. I saw Leeds fans like hammering him after the England performance. That's something I'll never understand. That's something I will never ever grasp. Leeds fans suddenly just slamming him because he's going to be moving. And I remember Villa fans did it with Grealish, but he's given us so much, Calvin. I do think he'll move on, but you've always got to appreciate what he's given us and what he's essentially done for Leeds United. So yeah, Simon Hughes has said Cal won't fit into Jesse's system. I don't think. Hey Simon, when did that? I don't know if you're a follower of the channel, mate. I said that 2 games into Jesse Marsh's regime, and I got clipped up on the debrief three times on that night. And you guys know who you are, who clipped me up and sent me that and said, "Oh my God, can't believe what you're talking about." People put that on Twitter. And it was an unbelievable thing to say because it's uncomfortable conversations. It's conversations people don't want to have. People are like, Calvin Phillips. But unfortunately, in my opinion, in a narrow system, Calvin is going to be perfect in a Pep system because he's distributing the ball wide. He's distributing the ball over the fullback. He's going to get time and space on the ball. He's going to have a defence behind him who are incredible. He's going to be able to make those little pivot movements. He's going to be able to play in the single pivot as well. When he's rotating for Rodri, where he's better, he's going to be an excellent screener there. And he's going to have better players around him. But people don't like hearing the fact that in this Jesse Marsh system, there are, in my opinion, better options out there for the system. Don't people hate hearing that because it's Calvin Phillips, he's a Leeds lad, sentiment, all that sort of stuff. But that is the stone cold facts. I've done a video on my Patreon of 5 players who I think will be ideal replacements for Calvin Phillips. There is an argument that in a Jesse Marsh system, all of those are better than Calvin Phillips in a Jesse Marsh system. I'm not saying they are, but there's an argument. There is an argument. So yeah, I will never say Calvin Phillips' attributes have gone down at all. But I think there are systems that are perfect for players. Calvin would be perfect in a Pep system, like he was perfect in a Bielsa system. Can't play a narrow, compact way and facilitate Calvin Phillips to the hill. You just can't. It's not going to work. And we saw that. People kept saying, "Oh, it's his injury. Oh, he's only just come back." No, it just didn't work. It just didn't work. Uncomfortable conversations. It did not work. It is what it is. Chronicle says it's a myth that teams play without any width. It's no teams play without any width. It's a myth. It's a myth. No, I think teams can set up without width, but I think naturally sometimes players funnel out wide. But I think teams can set up without width. Look at Southampton. Southampton literally set up in the same shape as any Jesse Marsh team has. Gil says, I went to Watford game and I agree with you, Connor. We were poor and won 3-0. Yeah, diabolical that game, wasn't it, mate? There's a super chat, I think. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Ryan, top man, thanks, mate. Phillips out, Nathan Collins in, and I'd be happy. Different positions, mate. Different positions. But yeah, Max Power says, what a name. Is that your actual name? Homer Stimson. Cheers to Australia, Connor. There are as many players we need to get rid of as we bring in. I'd agree. Let's have a look. Scooby's in the building. He says, I don't think it means he can't play in a Jesse system. Was just his reflex. Who did better with ball in Jesse's system? Why did he revert back to Marco's system with ball? Sorry, mate. I don't really understand that comment. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, let's just get on with a few more bits and bats that's going on now in the Leeds United sphere. So Phil Hay was reporting a little bit earlier on that allegedly, I'm paraphrasing now because I can't think of the direct quote, but Leeds United are not looking to bring in a left back. It's not one of their priorities. Oh man, just when you think it's going so well. Yeah. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. So what are we relying on? Junior Firpo? What are we doing? We're relying on Junior Firpo. Leif Davis, I've told you this, guys, before. He's been touted out by Leeds United. Leeds want to get him off the books. So he's not going to be around. Stuart Dallas, listen, he's only, 3 months into his rehab. There's going to be many months on top of that, and then he needs to get match fit. And Stuart Dallas he's not a Premier League left back. Sentiment out the window. It's difficult, but he's not a Premier League left back, is he? Come on, he's not. He's not even left-footed. So who's your backup? Strauch, who's a centre-back, who we all want to see at centre-back. Please, can we see Pascal Strauch at centre-back? Or Leo Yelder, who is also a centre-back. It doesn't matter if they played well there. They are centre-backs. That is where they should be playing. And if they're not playing at centre-backs, we're doing the same thing that we were doing before. It is so obvious that Leeds need a left-back. There is an argument Leeds need a left-back more than we need another midfielder. There is an argument there because you are literally relying on a guy who a lot of people keep saying he's going to come good. I hope you're right in Junior Firpo. My personal opinion, as I said with Rodrigo last season, it won't come good. It won't come good. You can just tell. For me, he's really struggled to adapt to the Premier League. The transition's been too much for him, and his football IQ is nowhere near on the level that the Premier League needs you to be on. And I don't think he's technically good enough either. I think his decision-making is unfortunately poor. And I will give him time, but I don't think it'll work. So therefore, you have to have a backup. And that backup can't be dragging one of your best centre-backs to left-back, if not your best centre-back in Pascal Strauch. They need to have this figured out a little bit more. There is problems in this Leeds United side. Mark Rocker, really happy with that signing. Aronson, good signing. I'm interested to see what happens there. Christensen, very happy with that signing. Leeds need to do more, though. We need to do a hell of a lot more. And left back is more important than an experienced goalkeeper, even though that is so important. Left back is so pivotal for Leeds United. And as I've said, there's an argument. It's more serious than a central midfielder at the minute. So that's a huge worry. It's a huge worry that Leeds aren't doing it. All things Leeds United, thank you for your donation, my bud old pal. Looking forward to more signings coming in. Let's hope so, mate. Really appreciate the donation. Firpo will get obliterated. He is our weakest link. The 100, 300. Savage. Yeah, he's a winger's dream. He's a winger's dream. And I understand Leeds fans giving him excuses. I understand Leeds fans saying it's his first season, it's a transitional season. And you look at players who come in from the Spanish league. Look at Rodri at Man City. Rodri at Man City had a transitional season. Bernardo Silva had a transitional season. You know, players have transitional seasons coming into the Premier League, adapting to it. I just don't think Firpo's good enough. I simply, like, when Rodri came into the Premier League, it's a different level, but it almost looked like the pace of the Premier League had him on the back foot. Junior Firpo has technical deficiencies. He has concentration deficiencies, focus deficiencies. That's so much. That's levels apart to what problems, let's say, Rodri or Bernardo Silva face. They were just getting used to the pace of the division. You know, Firpo has so many more issues when it comes to adaptability. It's way more prevalent. Like, there's more things going on there. So if that's not working, you go out and get a left back. And I've said this multiple times before. Charlie Taylor is there. He is waiting to be had. He lives still near me in near the Leeds region. His friends are all around me, all this sort of stuff. It's perfect. He's going to be at a reduced value. He's there. He's there. He's an experienced head. He's been in the Premier League for so long now. And as I said, he'll be cheap. You know, his contract is favourable as well. So, yeah, I just think it's an obvious one. I just think it's an obvious one. Let's get some. Hopefully, 1977 future. Big Rig says, Connor, looking forward to next season. Got a great feeling about the new squad shape. Yeah, hopefully, mate. We just need to get a couple more in, don't we? Really happy with the Rocker signing. I think it's, you've got to get someone in who's going to be balanced alongside him, because I think that's the only way it works. And obviously, Calvin's going to be going. We all know he's going to City. I think the hardened Leeds fans now appreciate that. City are going to be absolutely gung-hoing for him now. When you get that call from Pep Guardiola and he says, "Hey, Calvin, and you're going to be playing with Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne week in, week out. What do you reckon?" Yeah, unfortunately, Leeds' position, where Leeds finished, has, I think, unfortunately, if we'd have finished, let's say, in the top 10, I think there's a genuine possibility Calvin would stay with us. But finishing 17th when City come in for you, it's levels, isn't it? LUC Dan, Connor, which left back do we go for? That is not a former player. Dan, why does it matter if they're a former player, mate? Why does it matter? You know, we're not talking about Stephen Crane here or Stephen Warnock. We're talking about a fully fledged Premier League left back in Charlie Taylor, who's been at Burnley in the Premier League for eight years, and consistently been good. But left backs that are not in the Premier League, I'd have to go and do a video on it, mate. I'd have to go over and do a little bit of research on it. I'm not just going to sort of come out and blurt out a name that I've not done any research on. God, this is difficult on your phone. You know, I'm going through a lot of your comments. Yelda over Firpo at left back, says Matthias Ronenberg. Yeah, at the minute, and that's how bad it's got, mate. That's how bad it's got. PSF reckons that PSG is more likely destination. Taylor with experience has just been said. Taylor with experience is a no-brainer. I completely agree. I just don't get it. I just don't get Leeds fans who would not have Charlie Taylor back. Dorigo's still working with the club. He'd be better than Firpo. But I do think there's going to be some big signings coming in. I don't know, if I think Leeds are preparing for something big. I really do. I think they're preparing for some big signings. I think we've seen Aronson come in. I know the value's there. I know it's 24 million. What was it? And I think Christensen's a very good signing, and obviously Rocker is a good signing. But I think Leeds are waiting on something big. I think we're going to go do something big this window in terms of valuation, because they have to back what they want to do, and they want to be in the top 6. They want to be in the top 8. They've got to understand that this is a problem. It's a real problem if Leeds aren't doing something big, because they're not going to break any bracket. They're not. Unfortunately, even with the team that we have now, I don't think Leeds break the top 10. Obviously, I think we stay in the division, but I don't think we break the top 10, which is what they want to do. So I genuinely believe there's going to be a couple of big signings coming. I do. I think that. which is exciting, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what we do. It really is. Is 50 million spent so far good enough? I'd say so, Toby. I'd say it's only been 3 weeks, hasn't it, mate? It's been 3 weeks since the start of the window. I'd have liked 4. I put on Twitter the other day, Leeds need to go back, go out and get 3 or 4 more. People were snubbing their nose at that, and this is a problem. There's Leeds fans there's revisionism all of a sudden because we've brought 3 players in and people are liking the videos that have been put out and people are getting excited. They're thinking to themselves, Leeds don't need any more. That's it. We're done. We're sorted. We're top 6 finishers. They've seen some highlight clips from Mark Rocker and they think he's going to be the next Eric Bakker. You know what I mean? Leeds still need some serious bodies in, and it's got to be realistic. It can't be an unrealistic setting. It can't. This can't be one of those windows where you turn around and thinking, Leeds going and getting 3 or 4 more bodies is why would they do that? They don't need to do that now. We brought 3 players in. Leeds need areas addressing big time. The left back is such a problem because wingers in the Premier League are so technically gifted. They're so good that having poor fullbacks is a massive problem, which is what we found out last season, towards the back end of last season, throughout last season. You can't have poor fullbacks. Fullbacks are arguably 2 of the most important positions in the Premier League because of how the modern day fullback is now. They're essentially wingers. And defenders in the same right. So, an experienced goalkeeper, someone backing up Elan Mele is pivotal. There's one out there at the minute that a lot of guys were saying to me, don't get Ben Foster, don't think he's great. Don't get John Ruddy, he's not great. Don't do this, I don't think he's great. So, what about Darren Randolph? Randolph has had however many caps for not Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. I believe he's out there on a free. There are players out there that Leeds can go and get. It's not my job to be the head of recruitment. It's my job to come on a YouTube channel and say, this needs calling out. We need players in this position. We need more midfielders. It's an argument. We need 2 more midfielders. We need a striker. So by my totaling up there, you've got 4 or 5 positions. And are they unrealistic? They're not. These are realistic signings Leeds need. If we get 2 more bodies, there's a problem. There's a big problem going into next season, in my opinion, because you're going to get Calvin going. There is a scenario that Raphinha stays. I do believe that. I do believe that now it's looking like, why would he go to Tottenham? He's not going to go to Tottenham. I don't think he's going to go to Arsenal. So there is a likelihood now that Calvin goes and we get the money from him, we reinvest that, whatever, but Raphinha stays. But there is also a massive likelihood that then Raphinha goes in the summer. So in the summer or in the winter. So the winter window, teams come in for Raphinha again. He has an unbelievable World Cup, which I think he will. Teams come in for him in January. Then what? Then we're having to recruit in January, which we all know Jean-Kevin Augustin settings is not good. It's not good for Leeds United. It's a horrendous market to navigate in. So it's a difficult one for Leeds to just, be turning around and thinking we don't need a left back. Do we really need an experienced goalkeeper? We'll get another couple of midfielders in. We might get an experienced striker, but that's it. Leeds need to be making moves. We really do. Let me just have a look. There's so many comments coming in. I think there's been a donation. Is it Tom Reddington? Thank you, Tom. Tom, £17, mate. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that, bud. Just to let you know, everything goes back into the channel. It means I don't have to do stuff on my bloody phone like I'm having to do now, but I just wanted to speak to you guys this morning because I've not done it for a while. Thank you so much, mate. Your donation goes straight back into the channel, so thank you. New year and summer markets are no different these days, dude. I disagree with you there, Tom. I disagree with you there. Otherwise, we'd have got Brendan Aronson then, wouldn't we? We'd have got Brendan Aronson. The problem is you get players who are in form. Let's say Brendan Aronson was in form going into that January, and Salzburg didn't want to let him go because they wanted him to compete in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, wanted him to compete in the domestic league, so they won the Austrian league. Whereas in the summer, there's nothing to play for, and you can play around with valuations. Players are in form in January, and deals are more overpriced notoriously in January. That's why they don't get done. Unfortunately, it's just the way of the world. Another donation here. Gabe, thank you so much, my friend. It's only 3 weeks in. You'll sell 2, 3, bring in another 2, probably midfielders and fullbacks off to a great start, and I'd expect it to continue. Yeah, Gabe, do you know what we need, mate? I saw, because you guys know that I obviously work for the Manchester Evening News, and Man City want Phillips done, Cucurella done, obviously Haaland done, Alvarez done, and they're looking at someone else as well. That'll come out probably in the next couple of weeks. They're looking at somebody else. They want all that done before they go on their mid-July pre-season trip. That's what they want done. Okay. The reason they want that done is so they can build synergy, cohesion within the camp. The players can get used to each other. Leeds United are going over to Australia in I believe it's less than a month now. Leeds need to have players in by that point. So the 3 being done already is great, but we need to go to Australia with a side. We need to go with a side. We need to go with a proper, fully fledged set-up side that we can compete against Aston Villa, I believe it's Crystal Palace and Brisbane and all these sort of teams out there as well. And we can compete with them. I think we need players in, all of our players in by that point. Do I think that'll happen? No. But that's how you build a cohesive side. That's how you build a team. And then you'll be ready. Goldie says we need 4 to 6 signings. Completely agree. Connor, would you take Mohamed Kamara as KP replacement? 100%. He's number 1 for me. Number 1. He does everything Calvin does, and he's been in the Salzburg system. I've heard chat about Christensen being Jesse Marsh's number 1 from Salzburg. That's interesting, because I think my number 1 would have been Kamara. But Christensen's very, very good. That's not me diminishing the Christensen signing, by the way. I'm just saying Kamara stands out as a perfect Calvin Phillips replacement. He's absolutely class. I hope the nap was okay today, Connor. Seems like a great night. Yeah, it's rough one, mate. Rough one in Harrogate. Harrogate's a dead night out, by the way, isn't it? Poor night out. It's also the first night out I've been on in about 4 years. So there you go. Tom Zanetti, if it is you, Tom, hello, mate. Who would you like us to sign realistic targets, mate? I've done about 3 or 4 videos on my Patreon account. It's only £4 a month if you want to go over there and check that out. I'd love Zinchenko, to be honest, plays left back or centre mid. I think everyone would love Zinchenko, wouldn't they? Apparently Everton are quite keen on him as well, which is interesting. Yeah, Bradley's. I don't think that's getting done, mate. I don't think that's getting done. For some reason, he's very far down the list, and credible sources are saying Leeds knocked him back in January as well. So clearly New York are wanting to sell him on. They're wanting to sell him on, but I don't know if Leeds are fully sold on that one, which is disappointing because I think he's a perfect profile, but it is what it is. Dale, I don't think money has ever been a problem for Leeds. I think under the new era, I think I'd definitely agree. Ellis says I'd definitely have Charlie Taylor back to go. What would we all like? Yes or no? Would we all like? I mean, it's subjective, isn't it? It's like, but you take Gary Monk making stuff up out of the equation, and as a football player, as a talent, and ability-wise, would you all not take Charlie Taylor? Really, I'm interested to know. I'm genuinely interested. So we've got Junior Firpo, who looks like he's going to be starting week in, week out. Can you all, I'm really interested to know this. Can you all realistically say that if Charlie came in, he wouldn't displace Junior Firpo within 2 or 3 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks. I think you would literally see Firpo playing 2 or 3 games for Leeds United next season. And I think Taylor would come in within 3 games and then keep his position for the rest of the season. We'd then send Junior Firpo on loan to probably a Spanish club the season afterwards and then sell him on. That's literally how I envisage it. It could be wrong, but would people genuinely not have Charlie Taylor? Taylor is levels above Firpo. Ollie says he'd have him back. Would love to have Charlie, and he's Premier League proven. Taylor any day, says GC. Agreed, says Scott. Alioski back. But that's the thing, Scott. I think Charlie's levels above Alioski as well. No, he left because he was too big. Where's that from, Taylor? Taylor about Taylor, who a Premier League club comes in for him. A Premier League club comes in for him when Leeds are in the Championship. They were established Premier League club as well. I don't know if they've just got Europe as well, or they've just been, I think he signed, didn't he, about 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know if they just got Europe or they just had Europe. So it's probably a bit quite attractive. I don't know. I'd be a little bit worried when, I think I've said this to you guys before, but maybe not to just. I'm talking about his footballing ability as well, and the fact that he's a massive Leeds fan and still lives in the area, and he's now playing for a Championship club. I was bitterly disappointed with how Taylor left. I'd have Taylor back compared to Firpo. Exactly. Is it a level up? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Is it a level up? Aronson's a level up on Click, yeah. Rasmus is a level up on Ayling. Rocker is a level up on Forshaw. Would Charlie Taylor be a level up? And it's a realistic getter, isn't it? Would he be a level up on Junior Firpo? For me, he would. Yeah. Tom says, do you not think Firpo would be better in a new system? I hope so, mate. I do. And this isn't me just hanging him out to dry. I'm just talking football. I'm just talking what I think his deficiencies are. I think he's got such a poor lack of focus. If you guys will have all played football, he defends square on in the Premier League. He's square on. I just find that absolutely mad. I find it absolutely mad that he defends square on. He was doing it in the Brighton game, square on, coming up against wingers in the Premier League. You know, I think it's because previously he's played as a left wing back. He's played as a left wing back, and I think that's the big difference. Now, if we're not signing a left back and Leeds go to 3 at the back, right? 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-1-2. Okay, which is not out of the realms of possibility. You could see a Junior Firpo playing left wing back, which is what he did for Real Betis. But I would also argue the case that I'd rather have Jack Harrison at left wing back, because 2 years ago on the channel I was calling for that. So I think Jack still has problems going forward. I think he should still score more goals than he does. I think he should still get more assists. A lot of his goals come in clusters. Throughout the entire season, I'd love to see that spread out a little bit more. But I think his defensive work's decent. I think one-on-one he's good. And I know Antonio Conte wanted to turn Charlie Taylor into He wanted to turn Jack Harrison into a left wing back. That was all the talk. You know, the Telegraph was saying that's what he wanted to do with him before they got Ivan Perisic. Apparently, it was a 1-2-3 option that Conte wanted, and Harrison was on there. So, you know, clearly top coaches see him as a left wing back. They could play him in that position. So if we play 3 at the back, we're still playing a narrow, compact system. We can still play 3 at the back. If we were to do that, I'd completely get that. But I don't know if that's what Jesse Marsch is going to do. I don't know if he has that in his locker, to be honest. Yeah, Knoxon FC says 3 at the back. Yeah, I mean, 3 at the back, I do like 3 at the backs anyway. I think it makes you a lot stronger defensively. He trots back like a Brazilian defender sometimes, but doesn't score a worldie. Firpo for Brazil. Let's get some more comments. Play 3 at the back. Cresswell needs to be in there. Yeah, what I do to see Cresswell. But what I do to see Pascal at the back as well. Pascal and Robin Koch. Pascal and Robin Koch, please. And if not, you can shove Cresswell in, you know, for Robin Koch. Strout way too slow. Same with Llorente. Yeah, but I think for a big man, I think he's quick, and I don't think you get many centre backs who are lightning speed, who are tall and physical. I don't think it happens. Like Van Dijk's not quick, in my opinion. A lot of people seem to think he's absolutely rapid, but it's just those long strides which overcompensate. And that doesn't mean he's absolutely rapid off the half turn. But I think there's a lot of top centre backs who aren't absolutely rapid. But I think it's more about football IQ, positioning yourself perfectly, which I think someone like Van Dijk does expertly well. Ruben Diaz, I don't think he's that quick, but I think he positions himself so well. And I think that's what Pascal does as well. Pascal doesn't have the brain. Fair play. Wow, but disagree, mate. Really do disagree. Would you sell Llorente? Yes, I would, 100%. Johnny, sorry, I'm having to look at the screen quite closely. It's on my phone, so I'm having to look at the comment. Where do you rank Cresswell versus other centre-backs? I think he looks stronger than some, but he's down in the pecking order. From a Harrogate lad on the train in France. Good luck, mate. I don't know let me know where you are in France. I might not be able to pick it out in the comments, but yeah, good lad, Johnny. But yeah, versus other centre-backs, I think my ranking, if I'm to give rankings, Pascal for me is the top. I think he's the best centre-back at the club. Second, I think technically, And I think potential, even not potential, he's 25, but I do really like Robin. I think Robin is a good centre back. I think he needs consistency. I think he needs a proper centre back next to him. I think he just needs to be playing in a back two for a period of time instead of being shoved around in defensive midfield and right back and all this sort of stuff. Exactly the same with Stroud with left back and defensive midfield and centre back. He needs a consistent period at centre back with Robin Koch. So I put those two at the top. Then Cresswell. Then Cooper. No, then Llorente, then Cooper. I think that's it, is it? I think that's it. Yeah, that'll be my pecking order. Grumpy C, do you only pick out comments that send you money? Well you kind of do pick those comments out because people are giving you the hard-earned cash to read out a comment. So yeah, I obviously do pick out those as preferential. But yeah, I try my best to read out others as well. Of course I do. I'm not just going to ignore people who send me money. I think that's a bit weird. Connor really likes Robin Koch. I do. Yeah, no problem, Johnny. No problem. I hope the train's all right. I would take Kamara over Berger, but I don't think we'll go after him. Oh, don't mention Sander Berger, guys. I'll get a bit excited. You know I will. Can't not respond to a donation yet. It'd be a bit scummy, that, wouldn't it? And as well, like, I never expect any money from you guys, so doing that that's great. I really appreciate it. Any updates on Raphinha to Arsenal? No massive updates, but it's never going to happen, not in a million years, because Arsenal aren't in the Champions League. Arsenal are never going to be challenging. I said this on a video not long ago. Arsenal are never going to be challenging for the league title. And it's the same with Spurs. I mean, I'll talk about Spurs in just a second, but listen, why would he go to Arsenal? You've literally got Bukayo Saka, who plays in his position. It is better on that side as well. Do we really think Raphinha is going to be on the bench for Arsenal? This is a guy who should be winning titles and starting. He's that good. So I think everyone in world football will understand a little bit more when he tears up the World Cup, which as Leeds fans, we all know he's going to do. He's going to tear up the World Cup. So yeah, when he does that, the world will take notice and they'll be like, oh yeah, and then they'll come back to our videos and our tweets and our Facebook posts and say, oh, this is what he was talking about. But he has the world at his feet right now. So yeah, Arsenal doesn't make much sense to me. They're not in the Champions League. This guy should be playing in the Champions League, and I think he's got his heart set on Barca. I mean, Deco, his agent, has literally said it's Barca or nothing. So I think even if Arsenal come in and Tottenham come in, he won't go. Why would he go? Because what's going to happen? Let's take Daniel Levy as an example, an astute businessman, right? Who Manchester City were pressing Daniel Levy's Tottenham Hotspur for Harry Kane last season, and Levy turned around and said it's 150 million or nothing. He's a well-known tough negotiator, right? So hypothetically, Raphinha goes to Tottenham, okay? Tottenham sign him down to a 3 or 4 year deal, okay? Then Barca come knocking in the summer and say, whatever happens, they might get another sponsorship deal for the stadium. Barca seem to wrangle the way out of absolutely everything, wriggle the way out. Barca turn around and say, right, Tottenham, we want to offer for Raphinha, but we're offering nothing more than 50 million. It's a year on. He's 26. He was great in the World Cup, but he wants to come to us. We'll offer you 50, 55 million. Daniel Levy just goes, no, I've offered him a 4 year contract. He's within a 4 year deal. You only get Raphinha if you pay 100 million. And then he's locked. He's completely locked in. He's completely locked in. So a transfer move to Arsenal, and it's a similar situation with Arsenal as well. He'll be locked in. So there's no logistical sense, unless there's clauses in his contract that if Barca come knocking, then he's able to go for a reduced fee. There are clauses in contracts like that, but that won't happen under a Daniel Levy ownership. It will not happen. He will not have those clauses in contracts like that because he's set to lose money. And Daniel Levy notoriously does not lose money. So yeah, I think between Arsenal and Tottenham, that's a little bit unrealistic for me. And you know, I think he's better than that. Sorry if you're an Arsenal fan, but I think he's better than that. And Tottenham. Yeah, Raf wouldn't be on the bench at Arsenal. He'd be first choice. So where would he be playing then, PSF? On the left. He's good on the left. He is good on the left, but we've seen this season that Rafa is unbelievable on the right. We've seen it. We know it with him. He's unbelievable on the right. So will they shift Saka to the left? No. So what's going to happen then? Is Martinelli going to drop out? They absolutely love him down there. I don't think he's going to drop out. So it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense, because then Rafa's looking at a scenario where potentially, he might be out of the side. Okay, there is a potential there that he's out of the side. So on that situation, he's then going to not there's potential that his World Cup chances are affected. His World Cup chances are going to be affected. So makes no sense for me for him to go there. Adonis, hello mate. Why Victor Orta goes to Belgium? Looks like it's the Lavia deal, from what I understand, but that's not confirmed. Just what I've been told, but I don't listen. It's just a pure rumor. But the Lavia thing, yeah, I think there's more legs to that than people think. I think Leeds are well in for that, but I think there's a fair few clubs in for him as well. Hi Connor, just wanted to say for the first time, caught you live due to the time difference. Love the content, man. Thank you, Trevor. Really appreciate it, mate. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, there's nearly 900 of you in here on a weekend. I'll tell you a bit of YouTube stuff, everybody. On Saturdays, nobody watches YouTube stuff. Nobody watches YouTube stuff. So the fact that there's nearly 900 of you in here, when I'm on my phone, don't have any of my resources with me, and I'm hungover, I really, really appreciate that. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, that'd be really good, because it basically means this video is going to be shown to more people if you give it a thumbs up. So I really, really appreciate that. And Trevor, thank you, my friend. Raph is better than Arsenal Sports Facts, Jack. Jack always spitting knowledge. Thomas, again, thank you for your donation, mate. Anybody but Firpo at left back, I'd even instead of Firpo. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. Like just not going to work, in my opinion. I think a lot of people, take it as fact with what I'm saying. It's not fact. It's just opinion based. Thank you again, Tom. Thank you, mate. Gabe, thank you for the donation. Help an outside eye understand better. Llorente gets shredded by fans for his poor performances, and fairly so. But I see Ayling get passes for truly crap performances. What am I missing from across the pond? Gabe, you missed favouritism, mate. Sentiment FC, the promotion boy. He's a promotion boy, isn't he? Luke Ayling. So that the realistic take on Luke Ayling is he's been poor for 2 seasons. That's the realistic take. He's not great at 1v1 defending. He's not quick. The overlaps have stopped entirely, even in the Bielsa system. He's picking up a couple of niggles now, and he's just getting older. He's just Luke Ayling is a backup in the Premier League. He did extremely well in his first season. He did, but there was still some deficiencies there. But there's an adaptability period. But Luke makes so many mistakes. But there's always a little bit of credit in the bank for what he did, but not with me. I'm not going to say, yeah, he should be starting week in, week out. He shouldn't be. Yeah, great what he did, but I've said on this channel 1,000,001 times, sentiment out the window. People don't like it. As I say, everybody, remember this: uncomfortable conversations. People hate having these conversations. People hate debating about Calvin Phillips. People hate understanding. People hate having the opinion put to them by a Leeds fan that Declan Rice is better than Calvin Phillips. People hate hearing that as Leeds fans, but it is. But Declan Rice is a better player than Calvin Phillips. People don't like hearing that Stuart Dallas and Luke Ayling shouldn't be part of the first team next season. People don't like hearing that. Because, Stuart Dallas scored a brilliant goal away at Man City last season. He had a great season behind closed doors last season. But you've got to move on. You've got to evolve. You've got to develop. If we want to be a top 10 club, if we want to be a top 8, top 6 club, which our owner has said last season, he wants to be challenging if Leeds stay up. That's why I think there's going to be some big signings coming. I do believe that. Are we going to be having Luke Ayling at right back? Are we going to be having Forshaw in there, Dallas in there? You're not. Because they're just not on the same level. They're not on the same level as any, and we finished 9th. We did, and that was a great achievement. But Sheffield United have finished 9th as well. Reading have finished 5th in the first season. The second, third, 4th seasons are always the test. Always the litmus test. And you simply just have to evolve. You have to evolve. Bradley Pickles. Bradley, let me just get into your comment, mate. I don't want to miss any comments. Anyone but Firpo. I got that from Tom, Gabe, Bradley. We'll go with you, Bradley. Love the content you provide all year round, mate. I even chuck your videos on in bed while the partner's trying to sleep. Cheers, mate. I find it weird. I find it weird that people watch me. I do, mate. I still find it strange. I don't know why you all tune in and watch me, but it is what it is. But I appreciate that, mate. Of course, I appreciate the donation as well. Ruben, Connor, you're the man. Greetings from Texas. Greetings, mate. Greetings. We can't rely on Bamford like we did earlier. Need a striker to replace if ever injured. Who would it be? You know what, Toby? It's not our decision, mate. We're not the recruitment side. That is down to Victor Orta and his analysts. But there are strikers out there. They're difficult to get, but there are strikers out there who fit profiles. We were just speaking earlier on about Tati Castellanos. He's a perfect profile player for a Jesse Marsh system, and there are others out there. I wasn't adverse in January for us going for someone like a Josh King. I think in both systems, the Bielsa system, and even in the Jesse Marsh system, he completely works. He really, really does. And I was all for that in January. I didn't come on here and say it because people had come back and said, he's barely played any games. He's a Man United ex-reject, this, that, and the other. But the profile, his attributes would fit both systems. So, yeah, there are definitely players out there, mate. And you don't have to spend 40, 50 million on a striker to be able to go and get those players. You really don't. Let's look at some of the comments. Some funny ones coming in today. Honestly, guys, I'm trying to look at all your comments and I'm just poking because it's such a small screen. I'm a Leeds supporter from the UAE, and please keep uploading because you keep enjoying it. Thank you, Mansur. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's great to know that Leeds have a reach out in the UAE as well. That's magnificent to hear. So thank you for your support, and it's great to hear of stuff like that. Hopefully there might be a supporters club down there that you can go to, and maybe you could create a supporters club, mate. But yeah, let us know if there is anything like that. That's great to hear. Keep getting your comments in, everybody. I think I've read them all out. I think I've read all of your stuff out. California in the house. There's two Californias, Scott Stansfield and John F. Both said California from literally like the comment section next to each other. Hi, Connor from Sheffield. Oi, oi. It's great that there's so many of you in here. Don't know why you're in here, but it is. But if you've got any questions in, guys, get them in. I'll sign off pretty soon. Dave Shack says, what are your thoughts on Bogus, mate? Is he out of the picture? Yeah, he is, mate. He's definitely out of the picture. I'd expect him to be sold. And there's a lot of deadwood. There is a lot of deadwood, and that's disrespectful in a sense, but it is true. There's a lot of deadwood at Leeds at the minute, and they really need to start siphoning through some of that. They need outgoings as well as incomings. We need to get some not only credit back, but we need to get some wages recruited a little bit, because at the minute it's just incoming. Leeds need to start getting rid of players such as Helder Costa, Tyler Roberts, in my opinion, but potentially Adam Forshaw, players of that ilk. They need to start moving stuff on. Kiko Casilla, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see with that. So obviously Leeds still need a strong bench, don't we? Leeds are keen on James McAtee on loan or permanently. I think Leeds are pushing for permanently, mate. Loan really makes no sense. Tom Sands, fantastic channel, Connor. How confident are you for the new season? Where are we finishing? Thank you, Tom. Not confident as of yet, mate, because I think there's a lot of moving parts, and you guys know what I'm like. I will be completely real. And what I'm going to try to do is try and enjoy the moment a little bit more, because the problem with me is I'm always looking long term, and that's a big issue of mine, because football's not always in the long term. You've got to enjoy the moment a little bit, but I do that a little bit too much, and maybe that's why sometimes I can come off as pessimistic. I see it as realism, but a lot of people just do see it as pessimism. But I want the best of my football club, and I've got high expectations. And I think when you're meeting below that expectation, for me, you're not doing enough, and people deem that as negative. But I think maybe people's expectations are a little bit lower than what mine are for Leeds United. I think Leeds, my owners told me that we need to be competing for the top 8, top 6. So that's where my bar's at. So anything less than that, I'm not happy with. So that's why I'm hoping that we're going to be getting big signings in. huge signings in this summer, I think, and hopefully that's going to be done. A couple of marquee signings. But yeah, it's, in answer to your question, Tom, it's all dependent on that. It's all dependent on what players we get in and the timing. We need to get players in really, really soon so they can go away to Australia, gel, all this sort of stuff. But Leeds simply need to get it done. And at the minute, with the squad at the minute, you can't really feel confident because you don't know what's going on with Raphinha. If we lose Raphinha, we've lost the X factor, and we can't just replace the X factor with another system-based player. We need the X factor. We need a player who has X factor. Most teams in the Premier League, even when you look at when Newcastle were bottom of the Premier League, they had Alan Saint-Maximin. Watford, Ismail Sarr, even though he's been out of the picture for quite a while, Burnley, Maxwell Cornet, each team has a star player who's creative and in offensive capacity is very good and can do something out of nothing. I mentioned those three because those three are pretty much, signed, sealed and delivered at the bottom sort of thing. Or they were, obviously Newcastle made the way up. But you need to have X factor, and Leeds need to replace that. We need to get bodies in. We need 4 more signings minimum for me. So at the minute, mate, I'm not 100% confident because I still think we need more and more and more. But some people seem to be just okay with what's going on at the minute. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Loads of comments in. Thank you again, Trebor. Zinchenko and 35 million deal of the century. I would not mind Zinchenko at all. Lee Barker, Connor is great. Best channel. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Future 97. I've lost your comment, but I've just seen you've said it. 1977. Minamino is overpriced. I agree with that. I like Minamino, but he's not worth 17 million. No chance. Rick Johnson's on the money. He wants Berger in. Good lad. I can tell you're a smart guy. Harvey says, what do you think of the possibility of Minamino? Is he really that needed? I think he'd be a good signing. He'd be a good signing. If he was a replacement for Raphinha, I'd be disappointed. But he's a good signing. But he's not, for me, he's not worth 17 mil. He's not. And I think Liverpool have put clauses in that as well, which would be a problem. Noah Lang, yeah, I mean, what a dream that would be, Chris, but I don't think that'll happen. Oh, Bradley, Seko Fofana, if you've been a part of the Rumour Mill chat for years now, you'll know that I've been banging on about Seko Fofana for 2 years. What a player he is. What a player. What a replacement he would be. Vin has said, hey, Connor from South Africa, is there a realistic market for the likes of Roberts and Costa in the team? If you mean in the team, Vin, I don't think there's space in the team for either of them. Roberts fits this system for me actually a little bit more than he did the Bielsa system, but I just don't think he's good enough. And is there a market? Yeah, in the Championship. I think Costa because he's got, I believe it's Mendes is his agent, and his agent's got him unbelievable. I mean, he got him a move to Valencia after that season with Leeds. He's moved. That's incredible from his agent, and obviously got him to move to Wolves, got him to move to Leeds when he was on the downturn from Wolves a little bit. So he's got a fantastic agent in Mendes. I mean, I think he's the best in the world, isn't he? Or one of. I think he's Ronaldo's agent, so he'll get a good move. Costa, I think he could go to a Spanish club, a Portuguese club, but I don't think we'll get rid of Roberts, mate. Which is it's just classic, isn't it? Thoughts on giving Greenwood more time in deep mid? I'm all right with it, Hadi, but I want top 6, top 8, mate. That's what my owner was telling me. So if it's top 6, top 8, he's not good enough. JT Live is a good new guy on YouTube. Has started as well. Yeah, JT James is a good lad. Yeah, he's a good lad. He's a nice kid as well. You see, there's that some absolute. Honestly, the Leeds United YouTube scene really good. We all really get along. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Honestly, it's a good scene. We all really get along. So yeah, JT's a good lad. He's a really nice lad. I've actually asked him in my previous job. He asked him to do a video I was doing a Leeds United pre-season thing, and he was part of a video for me, and I knew he had a bit of charisma then. Yeah, he's good. He's very, very good. He's a good lad as well. Seems like a nice chap. Any more comments? Greenwood needs a loan move. Yeah. any more? I think that's about it, guys. I think we'll wrap it up here. Nathan says, do you honestly believe we will sell some of the dead wood? Yeah, we've got to do, mate. I think we will. I think we're not going to recoup it. We're not going to recoup it. But I think, if you get, if someone pays 4 million for Roberts, you've made $1 million on him. If someone buys Costa for, Christ, 5 million, you've lost 10 on him, but that was always going to happen. And then Kiko, throw him in the bin for all I care. I just don't care what happens with him. He's absolutely useless. He was awful at Elche last season as well. Awful. But Costa, I don't know if in the league Costa registered an assist or a goal. It's just tripe, absolute tripe. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. Also, everyone apparently Bielsa and Bilbao. Keep an eye on that one. Wow, I think we're going to be getting our Bilbao shirts, aren't we? I think that's about it. Is that about it? Yeah. Guys, we'll leave it there anyway, because I've been waffling on for a bit too much. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, that'd be great. I'll be back tomorrow with Rumour Mill, obviously. But yeah, what was it? 3 o'clock. I really appreciate you coming along. And share the video if you want to your friends and all this sort of stuff. It's great to get more people on the One Leeds bandwagon. Have a good one, everybody. Cheers, and I'll speak to you in a bit.